Every week it can be a struggle thinking, who am I going to get as a visitor? Who am I going to get as a visitor? Oh, I got to get a visitor. And so to make it easy, what if we could show you how to get 10 visitors to your chapter meeting so you're good for like at least a month or so. And that's what we're here to do in today's video, how to invite visitors to BNI, how to get them to your BNI meeting. And do know that this is one of several videos that we have here on YouTube to answer the question. And in this video, we're going to cover one single tactic on how to get 10 visitors to your next featured presentation. Now you might be thinking, why would I want to get 10 visitors to my chapter and during my featured presentation? To me, the energy of a meeting goes up the more visitors and guests that you have in the room, and the more people that you have in the room, period. So the bigger the chapter, the more energy, the more guests and visitors, the more energy. Plus, don't you want people to hear what you have to share, telling them what a good referral is? I know I do. And if you partner right, hopefully you've worked with the Secretary-Treasurer to ensure that you're speaking in your chapter meeting at the same day as someone in your contact sphere. And if you bring 10 and they bring 10, that gives you 20 visitors in the room. Amazing opportunity. So we do have a simple system for how to get those 10 visitors to your featured presentation. Though if you're worried like, oh, how am I going to do that? That's too much work. Oh my. We'll talk about what to do after I go through the step-by-step process. The very first step is the Secretary-Treasurer actually scheduling you for your featured presentation. You want to make sure that you get it on your calendar 6 weeks out. Once you know your presentation is coming up, then you want to make sure that you pick a topic. I encourage you to come up with a fun and creative, inviting presentation title. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm just going to talk about life insurance, real estate. Really, y'all? That doesn't inspire anybody to come. In my promotional products day, I did a presentation called Put the Fun Back in Fundraising. Heck, my first book I call 4.5 Networking Mistakes, and there are a ton of people that come out to my presentations just to figure out what is a half networking mistake. And you got to read the book. I'm not going to tell you right now, or you can check out another YouTube video. So come up with an entertaining and engaging title for your presentation. 4 weeks out. There are a couple things you want to do when you're 4 weeks out of your presentation. The first is you want to come up with a list of all of the people that you want to invite. And to me, the more the merrier, though you want to invite at least 30. But you could go for 50, 60, 70. Secondly, you want to send out a save the date. And this could be an email, this could be a letter, this could be a postcard, this could be a text message. It can be a social media message, though I don't think, making a social media event and inviting those 30 people counts as the invitation. It needs to be more than just a social media event. Though speaking of social media, to me, social media needs to be done every single week as soon as you know your engagement's coming up. So perhaps you've already made that Facebook event, you've made that LinkedIn event, and you started inviting people as soon as the Secretary-Treasurer told you you were coming up. Now, the third thing that you're going to want to do during the 4th week is write the presentation. Now, it doesn't have to be finalized, but I think go ahead and write it, get it going. Really will help you get excited about it, and you can start talking and teasing it during your weekly presentations. 3 weeks out, now you can begin to put those final touches on your presentation. And I recommend sending out a news release. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait, what? A news release? You've probably got that local paper, the local magazine, whether it ends up in your mailbox or on your driveway, or you happen to pick it up when you're shopping at your local grocery store or convenience store or coffee shop, wherever it may be. But do a news release and let people know that it's coming out. I have had people come as visitors that I've never met before. One gal from a school specifically for putting the fun back in fundraising, and she became a client of mine. If you have not already, I would also start including your featured presentation in the newsletter. And I'm not saying, hey, I'm at BNI, come watch my 8-minute la. I'd be like, I am the guest speaker, the keynote speaker. Come see me, come hear me present. Now, I know that for some of us, we have in-person meetings. For some of us, we have Zoom meetings, and this process works both ways. Though, yeah, I get there's a little bit more energy in the room if we're in person, but on Zoom, it's still nice to have those extra visitors. 2 weeks out. Now is the time to reach out to that list of 30 people that you sent the save the date to and say, are you coming? Though I don't know that I would say, are you coming? Because that's easy to say yes or no. I would probably say, I'm so excited about my featured nope, see, I told you don't say featured presentation. See, we mess up sometimes. We have to work on it. I'm so excited about my opportunity to speak on date. And I'm very hopeful that you're going to be able to be there. You are able to be there, right? It puts in the assumption that, yes, they're going to be there. We want them to come on out. And so that's our main thing that we're focused on 2 weeks out. 1 week out. We're 1 week away from our presentation. I'm splattering all over social media. Hey, I'm so excited, in a week, this and that. And I typically like to send a follow-up email and or text and say, I look forward to seeing you, person that had said yes to your invitation, in a week for my presentation. Day before. This step is so crucial to having the people that said yes actually attend. You're going to want to pick up the phone. Oh my gosh, I know that's so weird. We're picking up the phone and actually calling somebody on it. Hey Susie, it's Tiffany. I am so excited about the event tomorrow, and I'm ecstatic that you're going to be there with me. And I just wanted to remind you that we get started at 7:15, noon, 3, whatever time your meeting starts. Now, if you noticed, I didn't ask if she was still coming. It's just a reminder. Because if you call and say, are you still coming? It makes it really easy for people to say, oh, something came up. So you always want to assume that they're coming. Several months ago, Tina McNeil, one of BNI's master connectors, shared that she used this system, and I asked if she would share with us her thoughts.
And then I'm like, okay, they put me on rotation, and I'm like, I need 6 weeks. And they're like, why? I'm like, I'm trying something different. I'm trying something new. I want to go through it. And then I'll let everybody know my results from that. And so I started the process, and I started it from the very beginning where, you know, polls and all of that good stuff, asking them kind of what things that they'd like to hear. And with that, I did all of my phone calls. I did all of my emails. And I had 12 people at my first time doing that. It worked very well.
Thanks so much for sharing, Tina. The last conversation that I want to have in this video is around what if you're hesitant to make this happen? What if you're not sure if you can do it? And for that, if you don't follow the entire system, I've had several people that say, hey, I did about half the work, and guess what? They got about half the visitors. If you want the true 10 visitors to your next featured presentation, then I do encourage you to use the entirety of the system. If you want a couple less, and that's okay, then do a little bit less of the work. It's all about, you know, what we put in. The same with networking as inviting the people to our meeting. Now, if you're hesitant to make this happen, Tina had something to share about that as well.
It's easy to do. You put together a list. There's going to be emails, but the most important part of that is a follow-up call. And if they're not making those follow-up calls to get people in, then it will not be as effective. You might get 1 or 2, but you will not get 10 plus unless you do the follow-up calls.
You now know the steps for how to get 10 visitors to your next featured presentation. And if you think 10's a little hard to reach, there's a gentleman by the name of Joe who got 56 visitors to his featured presentation. And it wasn't like it was his first one ever in BNI. He had been a member for over 4 years, a Gold Club badge member. So 10, definitely doable. Do me a favor, drop in the comments below after you use this system how many visitors you were able to get, and if you did some or all of the system. Now, if you're wondering what to put into your featured presentation, we do have other videos here on YouTube to share what makes an amazing featured presentation. There's also a podcast where I talked about one of my favorite presentations, podcast 489, Knock the Socks Off Your Audience. Let's start inviting and get those visitors to your next featured presentation. Thank you so very much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to get updates when we have new content coming out. And I love when you like and comment below. Let us know how you're going to use today's information.